Hello, dear students. Have a nice day to all. Today, this session is to deal with the third chapter of English textbook, First Flight. The chapter, Two Stories About Flying, has two stories. And today, we are going to learn the second story, Black Aeroplane, which is written by Frederick Forsyth. Frederick Forsyth is a British novelist, journalist, spy, and an occasional political commentator. He is best known for his thrillers. The lesson Black Aeroplane is about a pilot who is flying at night in his old Dakota plane from France to England. Dakota means a military transport aircraft. Suddenly, he is surrounded by a storm, and all the instruments in the plane stopped working, and he was not able to see anything. So let's begin the lesson to understand how the pilot overcame the situation. Let me read the first paragraph. The moon was coming up in the east behind me, and stars were shining in the clear sky above me. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. I was happy to be alone, high up above the sleeping countryside. I was flying my old Dakota aeroplane over France back to England. I was dreaming of my holiday and looking forward to being with my family. I looked at my watch, 1:30 in the morning. Here, the narrator was on his way to England. It was night time and the sky was clear and the stars were shining in the clear sky. He was so happy to be flying alone over France, and he felt peace in being above a country that had fallen asleep. It was 1:30 in the morning, and he was dreaming about his holiday, and he was also hoping to be with his family. I should call Paris Control soon, I thought. As I looked down past the nose of the aeroplane, I saw the lights of a big city in front of me. I switched on the radio and said, Paris Control, Dakota DS-088 here. Can you hear me? I am on my way to England, over. The voice from the radio answered me immediately. DS-088, I can hear you. You ought to turn 12 degrees west now. DS-088, over. When the plane was in France, the pilot thought of informing the Paris control room about its presence, and the narrator wanted to get further instructions from there. He could also see the lights of Paris city blaring at him. When he called the Paris Control Agency, they instructed him to turn the plane 12 degrees towards the west direction. I checked the map and the compass, switched over to my second and last fuel tank, and turned the Dakota 12 degrees west towards England. I'll be in time for breakfast, I thought. A good big English breakfast. Everything was going well. It was an easy flight. So, after receiving the instructions from Paris control room, the narrator checked the map and the compass, and he changed the last fuel tank into operation. All this time he was dreaming about his time with his family, and then he started thinking about having a good English breakfast when he reached England. He was happy and felt peaceful as everything was going well as he planned. And it was really an easy flight without any obstacles on the way. Paris was about 150 kilometers behind me when I saw the clouds, storm clouds. They were huge. They looked like black mountains standing in front of me across the sky. I knew I could not fly up and over them, and I did not have enough fuel to fly around them to the north or south. I ought to go back to Paris, I thought, but I wanted to get home. I wanted that breakfast. I'll take the risk, I thought, and flew that old Dakota straight into the storm. Now, the narrator was 150 kilometers away from Paris. Then he started seeing the clouds in the sky. There were storm clouds. When there are chances of storm, it's not safe to travel by air. These storms were so huge and dark that the pilot compared them to black mountains. He knew that it was impossible to fly above these mountains because he had only limited fuel left in the last tank. First, he thought that the right decision would have been to fly back to Paris safely. But the next moment, he changed that decision because he was so desperately wanted to be with his family and he wanted to have that English breakfast. All day he had been dreaming of that English breakfast. So he decided to take the risk and flew the old Dakota plane straight into the storm. Inside the clouds, everything was suddenly black. It was impossible to see anything outside the aeroplane. The old aeroplane jumped and twisted in the air. I looked at the compass. I couldn't believe my eyes. The compass was turning round and round and round. It was dead. It would not work. The other instruments were suddenly dead too. I tried the radio. When he flew the plane straight into the dark clouds, he could not see anything outside the plane because it was so dark. Suddenly, he started losing control of the aeroplane. The aeroplane jumped and twisted in the air. Then he tried to look at the compass. He could not believe his eyes because it had stopped working. It was only turning round and round and round, and the other instruments in the plane also stopped working due to the bad weather. Then he tried to get the radio. Paris Control, can you hear me? There was no answer. The radio was dead too. I had no radio, no compass, and I could not see where I was. I was lost in the storm. Then, in the black clouds quite near me, I saw another aeroplane. It had no lights on its wings, but I could see it flying next to me through the storm. I could see the pilot's face turned towards me. I was very glad to see another person. He lifted one hand and waved. Follow me, he was saying, follow me. He knows that I am lost. I thought he's trying to help me. He tried to call the Paris Control Agency who had helped him earlier, but he couldn't get connected to it due to the bad weather. In the midst of these dark clouds, when all the instruments in the plane stopped working, the narrator was not able to see where he was. He felt that he was lost in the storm clouds. At this time, when everything failed, he saw a ray of hope. That was another aeroplane without any lights on its wings. He felt relieved when he saw another pilot in that plane, and he was lifting one hand and was giving a signal to the narrator to follow him. The narrator thought to himself that the other pilot is very kind, as he knew that he was lost and he was trying to help him. He turned his aeroplane slowly to the north in front of my Dakota so that it would be easier for me to follow him. I was very happy to go behind the strange aeroplane like an obedient child. After half an hour, the strange black aeroplane was still there in front of me in the clouds. Now there was only enough fuel in the old Dakota's last tank to fly for 5 or 10 minutes more. I was starting to feel frightened again. But then he started to go down and I followed through the storm. Suddenly, I came out of the clouds and saw two long straight lines of lights in front of me. It was a runway, an airport. I was safe. I turned to look for my friend in the black aeroplane, but the sky was empty. There was nothing there. The black aeroplane was gone. I could not see it anywhere. Now, the other pilot turned his aeroplane slowly to the north direction so that it became easy for the narrator to follow him like an obedient child. Even after half an hour, the narrator could see the black aeroplane flying in front of his Dakota plane. Now, the narrator was also afraid because there was very less amount of fuel left in the fuel tank. And with that fuel, he could only fly 5 or 10 minutes more. So this thought started frightening him again. It was at this time that he started coming out of the storm and could see the runway to land his plane safely. Thus, he landed safely in an airport. And when he turned to thank the other pilot who helped him, he realized that the plane that helped him had disappeared as soon as he came out of the plane. I landed and I was not sorry to walk away from the old Dakota near the control tower. I went and asked a woman in the control center where I was and who the other pilot was. I wanted to say thank you. She looked at me very strangely and then laughed. Another aeroplane? Up there in this storm? No other aeroplanes were flying tonight. Yours was the only one I could see on the radar. So, who helped me to arrive there safely without a compass or a radio and without any more fuel in my tanks? Who was the pilot on the strange black aeroplane flying in the storm without lights? The author did not know where he had landed, but he decided to move towards the control tower. He went to the control room to ask where he had landed and who the other pilot was, because he wanted to say thank you to that pilot. But to his surprise, the lady in the control room informed him that there was no other plane in the sky except his old Dakota because of the bad weather. Thus, the narrator stood there with a lot of questions unanswered in his mind. He did not understand who helped him to come out of that storm clouds. We may come to a conclusion that it was the pilot's own conscience. Maybe it shows his own capability as a pilot which helped him to come out of that black clouds. So probably he was hallucinating that black aeroplane and the another pilot in it. Thus we can conclude this session with a message that we should not lose our hope when there are troubles in our life. Hope that this story is clear to all of you. In case you find any difficulties, please message me. Thank you. See you soon with another chapter. Until then, take care. Bye.